So I figured the background was getting a little stale, and if I'm going to talk about a wide-angle lens, well, let's go to a vista like this in Iceland. Why not? Good morning, everyone. We're here in the beautiful vistas of Iceland next to a glacier, whatever you want to call it. And I want to talk about the 16mm F2.8 lens from Fujifilm. When this lens came out, I did not want to buy it. I didn't think I needed it. It wasn't because it was a bad lens. I just felt like with the 16-1.4 and all the other lenses I talk about, you can see the videos on my channel because I do talk about them at length, I didn't need this in my collection. It wasn't going to serve a purpose for me. Now, unfortunately, or fortunately for Fuji, I took a trip to New York where I got to hang out with my friend Stock Easy, Jason Roman, and he picked up the lens and he couldn't stop talking about it. And he did, I guess, Fujifilm a favor, not my wallet a favor, and he let me use it for a little while. And I was almost immediately impressed by this lens. So, what do I think about this lens? I'm gonna get that to the end of the video. Let me just give you some highlights about this thing. This is the 16mm F2.8 and pairs nicely with their Fujicron collection. You know, the 23mm F2, the 35mm F2, or the 50mm F2. These small, lightweight, portable lenses that are meant to be, I don't wanna say cheap, they're affordable. Because if you call them cheap, it comes with this weird connotation that they're not well made. No, these are very well made, well produced, and they're using the Fuji glass that a lot of people have known to love. This thing only weighs 155 grams. What that means is that you'll be willing to take this with you more often than not. On top of being portable and really lightweight, these things are weather resistant. So you can use them in almost any kind of weather condition that you find yourself in. Now, even though I brought this to this location, I don't know if this is the best landscape 16mm lens that Fuji makes. I want to talk about this in terms of street photography, because that's why I got it. Whether you take it for travel or street photography, that's entirely up to you. For me, I got this lens for street photography, specifically for street photography. If you've been subscribed to my channel or you've watched my other videos, you know that I can't shut up about the 23mm F2. I absolutely love that lens. It gives me a little bit of a wider perspective for street photography and focuses incredibly fast. It's almost the same reasons why I think this might be my new favorite for street photography. It gives me an even wider perspective to play around with, and the focusing, I want to say it's faster than the 23mm F2. Now, take my word with a grain of salt or believe it as gospel, that's entirely up to you. But when I was using this in the streets of Tokyo, it locked into my subjects really quickly. I used it very reliably for the shots that I was looking to capture. So how does this perform for video? Surprisingly well. It focuses really quickly. It's not going to work great in low light environments, but when you have something that's well lit or if it's broad daylight, this thing is going to lock in on your subject and very accurately. Especially if you're vlogging, it's going to be a little bit wider, so careful how far or how close you hold it. You might feel like you can hold it a little bit closer because of that wide angle, but it will distort your face quite a bit. That being said, using this lens with the face or eye detection on the X-T3 proved to be something that was really rewarding and really reliable in my brief time testing it. So if you're shooting things that are mainly for yourself, mainly for YouTube, and you're going to be doing it in a well-lit environment, the 16-8 works really well, and it'll give you an interesting perspective that you can't find on other lenses. Now, when it comes to landscape photography, where you need a lot of detail in the corners and you can't afford to have any artifacts or purple fringing, you know, in your image, I'm still gonna recommend the 16mm F1.4. It's just a better lens optically speaking. These two serve a different purpose. The 16mm is nice. It's also weather resistant, one of the few of the premium lenses from Fuji that's weather resistant. So for travelers, that might be the one that you get depending on what you shoot. If you're gonna spend a lot of time in a place like this, take the 16mm F1.4. If you want to do portrait work or even fine artwork, I still say the 16-1.4 is the lens for you. However, if you are into street photography, if you want something that's incredibly lightweight and the subject that you're shooting, well, maybe the center mass needs to be in focus most of the time, and you're okay with that. The 16-8 is hard to beat, especially at the price that it comes in at. You're looking at something that's $500 or less depending on where you are. Using this lens, I haven't seen many drawbacks. That's only because I've been using it for a specific purpose, street photography. But in the couple of shots that I used it for landscapes, it just had me missing the 16-1.4. Again, when you start pixel peeping, you'll notice the differences. But for a lot of you, you may not. I mean, you might come out to a place like this with your Fuji X-T30, slap this onto your camera, take a few pictures, use the Fuji app, send it to your phone, throw it on Instagram, and no one's gonna be any wiser. So it might just do the job. Again, think about what your subject is and where your pictures are gonna end up. When you figure that out, you'll have a better understanding whether you want the 16-8 or the 16-1.4. I hope this information has been valuable to you. If you have any questions about this lens specifically or where we should shoot our next review, let me know in the comments below. Again, this is Gadjin. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and turn on notifications so you know when a new video has come out. Lord, I've said that about 1,000 times. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time. We're still within our budget, right? Oh, we have no budget. Oh, shit.